Ever feel like you need a vacation that caters to, well, everyone? Some want to just chill out, soak up the sun. Others are itching for adventure. Maybe someone wants golf. It's a tough one to balance.
It really is. Finding that one place that genuinely works for the whole group without, anyone feeling like they're missing out,
Yeah.
that can be a challenge.
Well, for this deep dive, we've actually got a listener question that gets right into that. We're heading to the Belek region of Antalya in Turkey to take a really close look at the Titanic Deluxe Golf Belek. I mean, the name alone sounds pretty grand, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And our plan here is basically to sift through quite a bit of info. We've got verified guest reviews, stuff from golf holiday websites, the hotel's own descriptions, forum chats, travel blogs, all sorts.
Right, the whole range?
Yeah, to figure out if this place actually lives up to that grand name and, more importantly, if it might be right for you.
Exactly. So we'll start with the Belek area itself, get a feel for it. Then we'll dig into the hotel, what's actually there. We'll touch on pricing, how it might change through the year. Look at what people who've stayed there are saying.
The good and the bad.
Definitely. And then try to wrap it up with, is it worth the trip? So first up, Belek. What's the story with this region? What makes it tick?
Okay, so Belek is essentially a resort town right there on the Turkish Riviera. It's really become known for its high-end, all-inclusive hotels, and like the name suggests, its golf courses.
A big golf destination then.
Huge. And location-wise, it's in the Antalya region, which is super convenient because it's only about half an hour's drive from Antalya Airport. So getting there isn't a massive hassle.
That's practical. Good start. What about the actual place? The scenery, the atmosphere?
It's quite nice, actually. Think fragrant pine forests stretching down towards the Mediterranean Sea, that classic sort of Riviera feel, greenery meets blue water. Plus, the Kirpuzi River runs nearby, adding to the landscape.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, people often call it a pearl of Antalya. It's seen as a top area, apparently boasting over 15 pretty spectacular hotels and resorts, all focus on excellent service. It's definitely a competitive spot for luxury tours.
15 hotels.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. So where does our Titanic Deluxe fit into all that? How's its position?
Well, the Titanic Deluxe Golf Belek seems to have a pretty prime spot. It's described as having a beachfront location, which is obviously a big plus for many.
Beachfront is always good.
Absolutely. And crucially for the golfers, it offers really easy access to the Titanic Golf Club. It's basically right there, plus it's close to other top-tier golf courses in Turkey. It's definitely geared towards that market.
Okay, beachfront next to the golf course sounds ideal, but I think I saw some comments, maybe in forums, suggesting it wasn't quite that simple. Something about being far out.
Ah, yes, that's a good point to bring up. We did see that too. Some forum users felt it was quite far out compared to maybe the central hub of Belek resorts. And sometimes this was linked to needing shuttle boats to get to the actual beach from certain parts of the resort because of the river.
Ah, okay. So maybe not direct walk out your door onto the sand for everyone.
Potentially not from every single room, no. But then other sources strongly described it as prime beachfront and next to the golf course and the beach. So it might depend on where your room is or maybe just perception. It really shows why looking at different sources helps. If that direct beach access is key for you, maybe check hotel maps or recent reviews mentioning specific room blocks.
Good tip. Always drill down into what matters most to you. What about getting out of the resort? Anything nearby if you fancy a change of scene?
Yeah, there are options. The Land of Legends theme park is pretty close, like 4 kilometers away. That's a big draw. Loads of entertainment there.
Okay, theme park nearby.
And then for something historical, you've got the Aspinos Amphitheater, which is amazing, but that's further, maybe 24, 25 kilometers. We also saw mentions at a local bus, number 23. It runs hourly from near the hotel to Land of Legends for about 15 lira, super cheap.
Oh, handy.
Yeah, and it apparently continues to a central station where you might connect to other shopping areas. But the catch is the last bus back seems to be around 8:03 ZPM, so you need to plan. Taxes to Antalya city center were mentioned around 91 lira. So yes, you can explore, but it might take a bit of organizing.
Right, so Belek itself, purpose-built luxury, big on golf, near the airport, but maybe needs a bit of effort if you want lots of off-resort exploring.
That sums it up pretty well.
Okay, let's dive into the hotel itself then. The Titanic Deluxe Golf Belek. You mentioned it's big.
Yeah.
Just how big are we talking?
Oh, it's vast, like 170,000 square meters vast. This isn't some boutique hotel. It's a full-scale, sprawling resort complex.
Wow, okay. And that size usually means lots of options, especially for rooms, right? What kinds of accommodation do they have?
Exactly. The range is huge. You start with standard rooms, which are still a decent size, at 34 square meters with views of the river, golf course, or gardens. Then you've got deluxe, superior rooms.
Standard stuff.
Yeah, then it scales up family suites, major suites, corner suites. And then some really interesting ones like family pool suites. Some have balconies, some are swim up, direct pool access.
Swim up rooms are always popular.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And for top tier luxury, they have design pool villas, exclusive pool villas, and these huge superior villas. One was listed at 610 square meters.
Ooh, okay. That's enormous. What about the basics inside? What can you expect in, say, a standard or slightly upgraded room?
Well, all rooms seem to have the essentials covered.
Yeah.
Aircon, satellite TV, mini bar, tea and coffee stuff, safe, hairdryer, bathrobes, free Wi-Fi.
Standard hotel kit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But as you go up the levels, especially in the suites and villas, you start getting extras like jacuzzis, private terraces, maybe those kitchenettes, direct pool access, and even butler service for some villas. So there's a definite scale of luxury available.
Okay, plenty of choice for where to sleep. But holidays are about more than sleep. What about the fun? I saw loads about pools and water. Seems like a big focus.
Water is huge GE here. They list 9 outdoor pools. 9. Plus 2 indoor ones. There's even one pool mentioned as having a view and a heated saltwater pool, too.
9 outdoor pools.
Okay. And the aqua park. That sounded serious.
It does. 15,000 square meters dedicated just to the aqua park. It has 9 slides for adults. And then this separate aqua tower thing with 7 slides specifically for younger kids. Sound like a proper water destination within the resort.
Definitely a family pleaser. Is it open year-round, though?
Good question. The info suggests it's mainly a summer season thing. So if you're planning an off-season trip, that's something to double check if the aqua park is a must-have for you.
Right, important detail. After all that splashing, maybe some relaxation, what's a spa like?
The Fine Spa sounds incredible, honestly. Another massive space, 13,000 square meters. It's got the traditional Turkish hammam, ice pool, saunas, steam rooms, something called an ice grotto.
Ice grotto. Intriguing. Yeah. And a vitamin bar, plus a big fitness center with techno gym gear. One thing to note, though, spa access might be a premium thing. Maybe included only with certain room types, or you pay extra. Worth clarifying.
Okay, spa sounds impressive. What about keeping the kids busy when they're not in the water park?
They seem well catered for. There's the Teeny Kids Club, another big area, 6,000 square meters for ages 3 to 13, run by multilingual staff, apparently, with its own reception, slide pools, game halls. Sounds pretty comprehensive.
Multilingual staff is a plus.
Definitely. And they also have a separate teenage club for the 14 to 17 crowd. So they seem to cover the bases for different age groups.
Good to know for families. Beyond water and kids clubs, what else is there to do? You mentioned golf.
Golf is obviously central. A 27-hole course right next door usually means 3 9-hole loops you can combine, which gives variety. Then there's the private beach.
How do you get to that? You mentioned the river earlier.
Right. Access is interesting. You can walk, or they have a little train shuttle, or you can take a boat trip along the river to reach it, which actually sounds quite nice.
A boat to the beach. That's different.
Isn't it? Then for sports, 7 tennis courts, 4 football pitches, basketball, beach volleyball. Indoors, there's bowling, a game room, table tennis, darts. They even list canoeing, water cycling, water polo, aerobics, billiards, bike rental. Oh, and horse riding and a petting zoo.
Wow. Okay. They really pack it in. You definitely wouldn't be bored.
Seems unlikely.
All that activity works up an appetite. Tell me about the food and drink situation. It's all-inclusive, right?
Mostly, yes. It's primarily an all-inclusive or ultra-all-inclusive resort. They have a main buffet restaurant that sounds quite large, with different themed areas and a kids section.
Standard buffet setup.
Yes, but then they also have 6 a la carte restaurants. The cuisines mentioned were Italian, Turkish, fish seafood, a steakhouse, and even a restaurant on a boat.
A boat restaurant, too. Okay.
Seems like they go for unique settings, plus 3 snack bars for more casual bites during the day.
That's them?
And then the bars. 14 of them.
14. Okay, you won't go thirsty.
Probably not. Pool bars, beach bars, lobby bar, a disco, an Irish pub. They're dotted all over.
What's the deal with the a la carte places and the drinks? Any catches?
A couple things to be aware of. Those a la carte restaurants might cost extra, not always included in the basic package. And their availability, like some outdoor bars or pools, might be reduced in the winter season. The hotel apparently switches between a summer concept and a winter concept.
Seasonal changes. Important.
Definitely. For drinks, the included brands sounded pretty good, though. Mentions of Havana Club, Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker Black Label, Gordon's Gin, plus local beers like Eefs, Miller, Beck's, cocktails. Seemed quite comprehensive. But again, Always best to check the exact details for your dates.
Always. Okay, and just quickly, the practical stuff. Wi-Fi, parking, laundry.
Yep, seems covered. Free Wi-Fi mentioned, free parking. Airport transfers are available at extra cost. Babysitting, too, for a fee. Laundry service, currency exchange, some shops on site, beauty hair salon, 24-hour front desk, room service, even a convention center for business events. They seem to have the infrastructure.
Right, it really does sound like its own little world. Okay, let's shift gears to something crucial. Money. What did we find out about prices? Does it change much with the seasons?
This was a bit trickier. The sources didn't give us, like, a neat table of hotel room prices across seasons. What we did see was some info on golf green fees in Belek generally.
Okay, what's the range there?
It seems to vary quite a bit, maybe from around 45 or at the lower end, up to 150 euros or even more for the really top courses. And renting a buggy is extra, maybe 35 or so.
So golf isn't cheap, necessarily.
Not always, no. And interestingly, one person in a forum mentioned June might be considered off-season for some courses, maybe due to course maintenance, which could affect prices or availability then. Something to bear in mind for golfers.
Okay. What about the actual hotel stay? Any rough figures?
We saw some online package deals mentioned, but the prices were in Iranian toman, translating roughly, this seemed to be for a 6-night ultra all-inclusive stay in late spring, early summer 2025. But honestly, those were package prices, including flights from specific agents.
So not directly comparable and subject to change.
Exactly. They give a very rough ballpark for a package, but you'd absolutely need to get current quotes for just the hotel or a package from your own country for your specific dates. Direct checking is key.
Makes sense. Anything else on pricing?
Just a small note that the hotel might have different rates or conditions if you're booking more than 5 rooms, like for big family or group, or if you're there for a conference. So if that's you, ask about specific group rates.
Good to know. So pricing needs direct investigation. Right, let's get to the juicy part. What did actual guests think? The reviews.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Overall, pretty positive. On Booking.com, it scores an 8.6 out of 10, labeled fabulous, based on over 200 real reviews. That's a solid score.
8.6 is definitely good. What were the things people consistently liked?
Staff friendliness and attentiveness came up a lot, rated 8.7 specifically. The facility's got an even higher 8.9, with people loving the water park, the sheer number of pools, and the kids club getting special mentions.
Facilities sound like a real strength.
Definitely. Cleanliness also scored really well at 8.9. Comfort, like the rooms themselves, got an 8.8. And the location next to the golf near the beach rated 8.6. People also generally seemed happy with the food variety and quality, especially dinner, and felt the all-inclusive offered good value for money, scoring 8.0 there. Breakfast often got positive mentions too.
So staff, facilities, cleanliness, comfort, location, food value, covers a lot of the key holiday elements. Any specific glowing comments that caught your eye?
Yeah, quite a few people just said they loved the whole experience. Spa treatments were praised, lots of emphasis on how family-friendly it was, the convenience factor.
Yeah.
That little train ride to the beach popped up again as something people really enjoyed.
Train. It's memorable, I guess.
Seems so. And the kids club and water park were definite hits for families. We also saw reviews mentioning specific staff members by name for being exceptionally helpful, which is always a great sign.
That's all very positive. But realistically, there must have been some negatives too. What were the main complaints or areas for improvement?
You're right, it wasn't all perfect praise. A few things came up repeatedly or were quite specific. Some guests found the extra charges for the a la carte restaurants to be expensive.
Ah, the add-on costs.
Exactly. One person described the system for getting pool towels using cards as chaotic. A couple of reviews mentioned the beach restaurants closing quite early, maybe mid-afternoon, and also that there wasn't always a great option for very young kids needing an early dinner before the main buffet opened later.
Timings can be tricky with little ones.
Yeah, and while many praised the staff, some guests felt that at busy times, bar or waiting staff seemed overworked, which sometimes led to delays or them seeming, a bit abrupt or inefficient. Language barriers were also mentioned occasionally as a minor hurdle.
So potential service inconsistencies, maybe.
Possibly, especially at peak times. Other specific issues mentioned included the cinema and some arcade games not working during one guest's August day. Remember that forum user who felt it wasn't the best in Belek due to location and maybe golf course condition at that time?
Right, that perspective.
Then there was a mention of mosquitoes and weak air conditioning in one room in June. Wi-Fi was apparently patchy in some areas like the water park and beach. Limited evening entertainment was noted by someone visiting off-season in October. And one review, while saying food variety was generally good, found some specific dishes, like rice, weren't always to their taste.
Okay, so a range of issues, some minor, some potentially more annoying, depending on what you prioritize or when you go. And good to remember the Booking.com disclaimer, too.
Absolutely. These are individual snapshots, valuable, but part of a bigger picture.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. The Belek area, the hotel's massive facilities, the price considerations, and the mix of guest feedback. So the big question, putting it all together, does the Titanic Deluxe Golf Belek seem like it's worth visiting for you, our listener?
Well, summarizing everything, it definitely comes across as a large-scale, quite luxurious resort. It clearly leans heavily into being family-friendly and catering very well to golfers. The sheer range of facilities, pools, water parks, spa activities is undeniably impressive. And the generally positive reviews about staff, cleanliness, and those facilities add weight to its appeal.
And if we think about someone who wants to learn quickly but thoroughly, our learner persona, what does this deep dive tell them?
For that kind of person, I think this highlights a place offering massive all-inclusive convenience. You've got so much on-site, it potentially saves a lot of time planning excursions or finding restaurants. But the contrasting reviews, especially on location relative to Belek Town or maybe beach access specifics, show you really need to weigh your priorities. Is sprawling self-contained resort living the goal, or is easy access to the town more important?
Good point. And the potential downsides to flag again.
Key things to keep in mind would be the seasonal variations. Some things might not be available or might be different in winter versus summer. The mixed feedback on service consistency at busy times is worth noting. And also be aware of potential extra costs for things like some restaurants and maybe patchy Wi-Fi in certain spots.
Right. So, final verdict for someone considering it?
If you're looking for a big resort experience with tons of amenities, particularly if you have kids who will love the water park and clubs, or if you're a keen golfer wanting easy course access and you like having lots of food and drink options within an all-inclusive package, then yes, the Titanic Deluxe Golf Belek looks like a very strong contender.
But with caveats.
Yeah. Definitely check current pricing for your dates. Maybe look for the very latest reviews just before booking. And really think about whether its specific location and the potential for seasonal changes fit what you want from your holiday. It's about matching the resort's strengths to your personal travel style.
Great summary. Thanks for navigating all that detail with me.
My pleasure. It was interesting to explore.
And thank you out there for tuning into this deep dive on the Titanic Deluxe Golf Belek. We really hope this gives you a clearer picture to help your own travel planning.
Yeah. Hope it was useful.
Now, as you mull over your next all-inclusive adventure, here's something to think about. With so many resorts offering, well, almost everything these days, what's the one non-negotiable thing that truly makes a resort worth it for you? Is it the number of water slides, the quality of the cocktails, how close it is to local culture, or something completely different that makes your perfect escape? Something to ponder.